what do your God bumps feel like, Gail?
Well, sometimes it's tingling. It's weird. Sometimes I get this like tingle in my hand right here. It's very strange.
Always the left hand?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And but this time, when I heard about this Maui retreat, it just was like my whole body just was like, oh my God, yes. It was like
Mm.
this ah, and just this sense of relief and the burden just, I mean, my whole, I felt like I was coming from a burden pissy, um just really kind of depressed place for a while. And this just was like, this is what I need. And this sense of relief and knowing immediately, I had no idea. It's not very, it's pretty expensive. And I had no idea how I was going to pay for it. I didn't know anything about the, like I said, the logistics, or even if my husband was going to divorce me, or, you know.
So the bigger the God bumps, the bigger the green light.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like, because there's things and seminars and things I wanted to do before, and it was like, no, we can't afford it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
all right. And I certainly have paid for things I've never utilized completely. So, I do have a tendency just to throw on things that I don't use. But this was like, just the word retreat, just like, I mean, I could immediately feel myself there. And
Yeah.
so it was definitely tingly, and just this whole shift in perspective of like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I'm not doing this by myself. I've got God, and ever since I just decided I really wanted to do that, just even the possibility that something like this could happen, it just changed my whole perspective. It was amazing.
Mm. Sweet. So, outside of that big one, how often do you get littler ones?
Oh, pretty often. I
Like
go by
once,
my
once a day,
intuit.
once a week?
Oh, I'd say like once a week or so, where just
Huh?
something just feels right. And I'll have to admit, though, lately in my little humbug, for me, I'm never going to get done taking care of my parents. I'm always going to be cleaning up shit and pee. And that it wasn't that often, but it feels like I had shrunk into myself and was kind of adopting some of David's pissy attitude. In fact, he told me that hearing me be kind of pissy and negative made him realize what he probably sounds like and how much
Mm.
that's just not very attractive. So the other thing that really happened for me with this is that I realized that even when it seems like things are bad and wrong and all I was going through, if I hadn't been going through that and acknowledged that and expressing it, like this is where I'm at right now, I wouldn't have been able to touch into the fact that I need a retreat.
Mm.
And it was just kind of interesting how that all happened. But yeah, mostly tingles. But like I said, sometimes it's kind of weird. And I've noticed this since I was like in high school.
Mm.
Like I'd be like at a model home, and I would just like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. One day I'm going to have a home like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I could it was interesting how that works.
Okay, great. So, can you ever like just invoke them? Manifest them?
That's a good question. I don't know if I've ever tried.
Or have you ever done any activity that 100% that you're going to get some accompanying God bumps?
Well, going to the beach, the ocean,
Yeah, that
being
does
there,
it for
just
you.
just that same, uh, it puts all of my littleness in perspective, and
Mm-hmm.
that just feels like like the breath of fresh air,
Yeah,
and you know, just that sense of relief and knowing, and just remembering that I'm not alone here, that I am
yeah.
connected.
Right. Okay, so because you're going to Maui, I know you use them for guidance because
Hmm.
so that would be my my next question. How often do you use them for guidance?
Um, most of the time, I I'm pretty right-brained, and I tell David that I know I get this intuitive sense and guidance, and then I try and find the logic to back it up.
Hmm.
But that's how I do most of my decisions. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, well, that's all the questions I have. You have any more? Have any comments or questions about God bumps?
Um, well, I think that it's a excellent source of guidance, and
Oh
you
yeah.
know that's what I use for guidance.
Hmm.
And you know, some people do pendulums, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
I've never really done much of that, but just the feeling of it in your body, and it's like an opening too.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely my main source of guidance.
Okay, great.
All right.
Okay,